the twilight of the gods nears, brother will kill brother. Families will be sundered by murder. 4 ages are afoot. An axe age, a sword age, where shields are cloven. A wind age, a wolf age, where the world falls. No one shall be spared.
Welcome to Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion RPG podcast. Prepare for adventure.
In Norse mythology, the poetic mead, or Mead of Poetry, Old Norse skaldskapar, okay, I cannot say that, I'm sorry, also known as Mead of Suttungr, is a mythical beverage that whoever drinks becomes a skald or scholar to recite any information and solve any question. This myth was reported by Snorri Sturluson. The drink is a vivid metaphor for poetic inspiration, often associated with Odin, the god of possession via berserker rage or poetic inspiration. So it's not really like wouldn't necessarily be able to convince somebody to do something epic. There's a creation of the poetry. After the Aesir-Vanir War, the gods sealed the truce they had just concluded by spitting in a vat. Ew. To keep a symbol of this truce, they created from their spittle a man named Kvasir. He is so wise that there were no questions he could not answer. He's that guy that in... is he the one guy in Almighty Jonson that kept turning into liquid?
Yeah, the bum.
The bum. He was funny. No.
He was played by the guy.
Yeah, but the character name was. Yeah. Alright, so, He traveled around the world to give knowledge to mankind. One day he visited the dwarves of Fajal and Galar. Okay, I'm so horrible with. I apologize.
Butchered away.
Of Fajalar and Galar, and they killed him and poured his blood into 2 vats and a pot called Boon, son of Ordrur. They mixed his blood with honey, thus creating mead, which made anybody who drank it a poet or a scholar. Dwarves explained to the gods that Kvasir had suffocated in intelligence. Fajalar and Galar invited a giant, Gilling, and his wife. They took him to the sea and capsized their boat, and the giant drowned. The dwarves then came back home and broke the news to Gilling's wife, which plunged her in deep in grief. Fajalar proposed showing her in the place where her husband had drowned, but Galar got tired of her weeping, went before her, and dropped a millstone on her head. When she crossed the threshold. These guys are horrible.
These are evil dwarves.
Oh my god. And
now Carrie feels better killing them.
I do.
I'm like, and I'm dancing with... Oh my god. When Gilling's...
You call that dancing?
When Gilling's son, Suttungr, learned what had happened, he went to the dwarves and led them to a reef which was covered with water at high tide. The dwarves implored him and offered him the mead in compensation for his father's death. Suttungr agreed. When he came back home, he stored the mead in a place called Hippinbjorg, where his daughter, Vinlod, was in charge of guarding it. Theft by Odin. Odin met 9 slaves who were scything hay and offered to sharpen their scythes. His whetstone worked so well that they all wanted to buy it. Odin threw it up in the air, and the slaves struggled for it to death, cutting each other's throats. Oh my god. He spent the night at Boggi's place. Boggi was Suttung's brother. He complained that business did not go well since his slaves had killed each other, and he could not get anybody to stand in for them. Odin said his name was Bolverk, proposed to do their work in exchange for a draught of Suttung's mead. Boggi agreed, saying that he would try to persuade his brother. During summer, Bolverk did the work as agreed, and in winter it asked Boggi for his owing. They both went to Suttung's, who then refused to give a single drop of the beverage.
Don't break a deal.
Bulwark then suggested that Boggy to use a trick. He gave him the drill Rati and asked him to dig into Hindenburg Mountain. After Boggy tried to deceive him, the hole was actually dug and Bulwark slipped into it, having taken the form of a snake. Boggy tried in vain to hit him with the drill. He arrived by Gunlod, with whom he spent 3 nights. Thus he could have 3 draughts of mead, but each emptied the container. He then transformed into an eagle and flew away. Then someone who discovered the theft, he took the shape of an eagle and pursued Odin. When the Aesir saw him, they displaced containers in which he spat his loot out. But Suttung was so close to him that he let some drop backwards. Anybody could drink this part, which is also known as the rhymester's share. But the mead of poetry was given by Odin to the gods and to the men gifted in poetry.
So now you know what the mead of poetry. Do you really want to drink some guy's fermented blood?
No, I don't. Ew.
And spit.
And it's not going to do what I thought it was, so Dwarf ain't getting any.
Well, actually, it will do something that you would like.
What?
It is going to be a 2-dot relic that will let you add your legend to anything using your charisma.
Anytime I take a sip, or is this a one-shot deal?
It's a one-shot deal.
Yeah, see...
So you wouldn't...
Is my virtue more important than a one-shot 2-dot increase?
So for day 2, you're saying you wouldn't want, on the day of assessing the value of items, to add your legend to your charisma?
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network. And feel free to enjoy our other shows, such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition, and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.
Okay, in North mythology... that's all, folks.
Frankie.
Let's try that again.